Here are the tests on my 1983 Crane Radcliffe. It is set to the water economy line because the top of the overflow pipe does not reach high enough to set it to the regular water line. So I assume that they intended for it to be set to the economy line, and that's what I did. And it is using a standard flapper. So I will show you guys a flush, and then let's see how it does on tests. This toilet has a very nice flush. I'm not sure why all the sludge got stirred up from the bottom of the tank, but that should clear out pretty quickly. For the first test, let's see if it can take a washcloth. This toilet has no mineral buildup, and it has the same trapway as the American Standard Plebe, so I'm guessing that it will perform very well. And it will do perfectly on the washcloth. As expected, it did perfectly. Now, let's see if it can take a grocery bag. This should be a pretty easy one too. It did perfectly again. Now, let's see if it can take the washcloth and the grocery bag together. I think it has a very good chance of passing. It might even pass perfectly. Not perfect, but it did very well. I've certainly seen worse. Now, let's see if it can take a dish towel. I think this will be where it clogs. Again, I don't know what it is with the music, because the first video of this toilet there was someone blasting really loud music behind the fence, and now when I do the dish towel test someone comes along and blasts music again. I'm not complaining, but it's just kind of weird. Anyway, that was definitely a fail. So I'm gonna pull it back out and I'm gonna angle it a little bit and see if it can pass it with help. It should be able to take it like this without me putting my hands on it, but it might need a little bit of plunging if it gets stuck. So let's see. Why couldn't it have just taken it in a straight line? It just had to push that end piece down under and clog it up. So I don't think that it's going to go through. I believe that this toilet has the ability to pass a dish towel, but I think that it would need help and it would need me to hold it in place while it flushes. So aside from that, the performance of this toilet is very good. I would definitely trust this toilet in my bathroom, and I would say that it is a good toilet to install if you want it to do its job in one flush. So now let's move on to the flush tests. For the first flush test, let's see how it flushes with a dry bowl. I'm guessing that it will still siphon because this toilet has a pretty strong flush. I guess not. That was actually really weak. So if you were to have this toilet installed, you would definitely want to have the water level correct in the bowl. Now let's see how it flushes with a clogged siphon jet. Elongated toilets tend to do better with this test because it's harder for them to maintain a steady swirl. So if you look at the shape of the bowl, it's an oval, and if you swirl water around in it, it's going to get caught around the edges, and it's kind of going to sit still faster than if it were round. If you ever have done that experiment on a 5-gallon bucket, you'd see that it stays spinning for a long time. So I think it'll siphon. I guess it just doesn't have the rim power. I'm gonna set the water level all the way to the top of the tank and try again. That was an awesome flush. It was a really long flush, but it was an awesome flush. Now let's see if it can take dirt. Since it just rained, I'm going to use ash for the sides, and I'm going to use wet dirt for the bowl clearance. And I'm not really worried about it caking up around the sides because this toilet has a more than long enough flush to remove all of that, assuming the rinse is good enough. So I'm guessing that the bowl rinse will need some improvement, but it'll function just fine, and the bowl clearance, while not perfect, it will be very good. I'm definitely noticing that it's a little bit cloudy, but I think that's because of the rinse. This is really not very impressive. I'm not impressed by that. Then along the sides, looks like it could use a little work, but the issue is mainly underneath the rim where no one will see, so I don't really think that is too much of a problem. But over here I have a 1945 Standard Cadet, and they fixed this problem. This problem right here, I'm gonna show you guys real quick. But if we come over here and we look at this Cadet, you'll see that it has the front fed siphon jet just like the Radcliffe, but it doesn't have that big bulge there. It's got jets there instead. So this toilet has perfect bowl rinse, while this one here, along with the 1950s Standard Cadets and the Plebes, have problems rinsing that one spot. So I'm gonna give this another flush or two and see if it can clear the rest of that out. And turn it, there we go. Now let's see another flush. So what I'm seeing from this is that this toilet needs all of the settings to be correct. It needs the siphon jet clear, and it needs the water level set correctly in the bowl, or else it will not work. So it's a good toilet, but it needs its features. Anyway, that is all for these tests. If you enjoy my videos, please subscribe and turn on notifications. It helps my channel a lot, and I really appreciate it. Thanks for watching, and see you guys in the next video.